Another way to empower people is mentoring. Many life coaches would say their coaching involves mentoring. Sometimes the terms are overlapped. So what really is mentoring anyway then? We know it's good. We, even just the word, we feel good about it. We love having mentors, we love being mentors, but it's a little hard to define. In some ways you can interchange the term mentoring with coaching or other words like teaching and guiding and maybe even counseling. Yet I think mentoring has yet another different feel to it. So what goes through your mind when you hear me say Dan is my coach or Dan is my teacher or Dan is my counselor? Don't different um, impressions come to
Yeah.
your mind with each of those? And doesn't it feel different if I were to say to you, Dan is my mentor? I think that just feels different. It seems like there's more to it. So, what is that more that we feel about mentoring? Well, an organization called MentorLink has defined what they call transformational mentoring. And they define it like this: taking the initiative to join someone's life journey and become one of God's instruments to help that person become all that God wants them to become and do all that He wants them to do. Now, that's a pretty lofty task that we take on ourselves if that's true of mentoring. But how rewarding and valuable is that to a person's life and to your life? In his book, Launching a Leadership Revolution, Woodward writes, in essence, everyone in his or her field stands upon the shoulders of giants because there is no such thing as an entirely self made person. The only real question is, whose shoulders will a person stand upon? This is the potential of mentoring. It gives people shoulders to stand on. In his book, Fathering Leaders, Motivating Mission, David Devenish captures the profound impact of life on life investment. He calls it fathering. Now, obviously, he wasn't the first one to use the term. The Apostle Paul knew the power of relationships like this. When you read through Acts, you notice that he changed his metaphor from teacher and students to one of being a father and having sons, spiritual father and spiritual sons. That, I think, is part of the depth of mentoring. So let's look at the process. Carson Pugh wrote a book called Mentoring Leaders, and he describes the process like this. First phase is awareness. As a mentor, I want to help the person become aware of who they are first. In Crest, that's our whole first year, is trying to help you become aware of who you are. And it's designed intentionally that way. The second phase is freedom. Love this phase. I love this concept that in mentoring, we're helping people experience freedom. Explore together any areas of life and experience from which the person must be freed in order to continue to develop. You see, in mentoring it, you dig down into what's holding a person back or what kind of bondage have they experienced that doesn't allow them to move forward. And as a mentor, you care about that and you press in to help them find that freedom.
That's good, John. It's again seeing people in a positive vein and wanting to help them become everything God intended them to be.
Mhm.
Yeah. that helping them get free. The other thing that I'm as I'm listening to you, John, there's another implication with mentoring that is reflected even in Paul's metaphor of shifting
Mm.
from teacher to student, to father, and I'm thinking it's a chronological thing. Like if you're a little older, you're
Mm.
often viewed more as a mentor, and when you're a mentee, often it's got an age differential to it, that this person that you're coming to for mentoring has more life experience and has something to offer that you haven't done yet. On the other hand, though, you could be mentored by someone who is an expert in their field. They may not be older than you, but you're needing to learn. But again, they've got something in their life and in their mind that you need, and you're needing to get it from them, and they need to help you to get it. So I
Right.
think that's one difference between mentoring and coaching or counseling.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan. There's this definite feel of passing something on in
Yeah,
mentoring, isn't there?
yeah. But it's not just a cloning.
Right.
It's an experience of being able to help you advance in a particular way,
Yeah.
maybe in some vein like this mentor has. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And in order to advance, sometimes there's barriers.
yeah,
And that's what this second phase is about, is trying to find out what barriers does this person have that I can help them be free of or overcome.
yeah,
That leads to the third phase, which is vision. So now you you have this freedom to move forward. Well, where are you going to go? This third phase is where you look forward together and discern how to develop the potential that's come to the surface. So that too is just a wonderful phase to help people through. Then in the fourth phase, it gets down to implementation and action. So it's time to set some goals and objectives towards fulfilling that vision and purpose that you've brought out in this person. And so some of that includes accountability and setting goals and then evaluating them and checking out progress and stuff like that. So that's involved in mentoring as well. And then the fifth phase is keep moving forward, the sustainability. This phase is about perseverance. It can be difficult to sustain the momentum once you have it. Okay, so the first four phases are all, moving forward, and it gets exciting. And then, but then to keep it going, a mentor often has to say, stay with it, keep to
yeah.
the plow. Like don't let this fade. It's too important to let this go. So stay with it. And a mentor can help do that.
Well, as you're describing this mentoring process, John, it helps me reflect a little bit about what we do in Crest. That
Mm.
in Crest, we do help people become aware, as you mentioned, year one, and getting over some of the things, which is the freedom stage. The vision stage is when we encourage you to search for the dream, what might be in your heart.
Mm.
What is it that your second half and your midlife could look like? What's the dream? And then we help you with some plans. We're going to find out in this course and in the next course, especially the next course, how to put into action
Right.
some of the things that you may have dreamt. And the perseverance piece, I think, is our alumni program. We
Mm.
want to support our students clear through to help them persevere on this. And I never quite thought of Crest as being that kind of a large mentoring journey, but that's really what it is.
Mm. Yeah, it's a great perspective. And a lot of people have said they feel that. I just was called by a student just a couple days ago, and from a cohort that was several years ago. But they want to stay in touch. They want to keep persevering. And
Mhm.
so that was what the conversation was. Can you help me, keep following through on this? And so
Yep.
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So we're here for you as students. We want to help you get your own clarity, and we want to encourage you on this journey and help you be the best person that God intended for you.
Yeah.
That gives us joy.
Yeah. There is nothing like empowering people to be their best. And when you see that happening before your eyes,
Yeah.
remember at the beginning of course 1, we defined what it means to flourish. It has to do with moving from a focus on success to significance.
Mhm.
Well, empowering, coaching, mentoring, doing all that so people can flourish, well, that is significant.
Yeah, that's right.
And we can all be involved in that. In the next lesson, we'll be talking about something called spiritual direction, which is another form of coaching, really, but it has a specific dynamic to it. It can take place formally, but it can also be a significant part of a relationship or an actual friendship you have with others. So we'll talk about that. We'll see you there.